Hello everybody and welcome back to Lost Planeswalker. You're here with me, Jesse, the Lost Planeswalker. And today we have more spoilers for Modern Horizons 3. Very excited. Not as many cool spoilers as yesterday, but plenty of really fun cards. So starting out, we're going to look at some legendary creatures here with the Necrobloom. 1 white, black, and green legendary creature plant with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 0/1 green plant creature token. If you control several more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token instead. Lands in your graveyard have Dredge 2. And this is a 2/7. Very, very interesting legendary plant creature here. I mean, this essentially has everything I'm looking for. It's an awesome landfall commander because it has really cool triggers. In addition, you can get lands back. You're going to be wanting to play multiple lands per turn, and this is a very cool card. Next up, we have another Titan inspired from Theros with Flage, the Titan of Fire's Fury. 1 red-white legendary creature, Elder Giant. When Flage enters the battlefield, sack it unless it escaped, like all the other Titans do. And whenever Flage enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. Escape it for red, white, and exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. This is a fun Boros piece. I'm not quite sure how good this is going to be in Modern. I know the other Titans are, fun to play with. I played with them a bunch in a bunch of other formats, but I don't know how this stacks up in Modern, but it seems pretty cool, and I'm glad we're getting it. And the last legendary creature we have here today is Skoa, Ember Mage. 4 red, legendary creature, Goblin Wizard. When Skoa, Ember Mage enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to any target. Then it has Grandeur, discard another card, named Skoa, Ember Mage, sack 2 mountains. Skoa deals 4 damage to any target. Yeah, I mean, this seems cool. It's a common for sure, but a legendary creature that's a common is, I think, pretty uncommon, and is among only 2 other creatures that are also red that are commons, but also legendary. So very neat. Not the most powerful, but certainly a unique creature legend we don't get very often. So next up, I want to talk about a cycle of multicolored lands that are also flip land. These are very unique and fun. And let's start off by looking at that Gruul one. We got Stump Stomp and Burn Willow Clearing. So Stump Stomp, 1 hybrid red-green sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Or it flips over, it enters the battlefield tapped, then taps for a red and a green. Next, we have Strength of the Harvest and Haven of the Harvest. So Strength of the Harvest, 2 hybrid green-white enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each creature and or enchantment you control. This is certainly one of the more powerful ones, as you will see, but I really like it. And Haven of the Harvest enters battlefield tap or taps for a green and a white. Then you have Glasswing Grace and Age Graced Chapel. Glasswing Grace, 3 hybrid white black enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and lifelink. Or Age Graced Chapel enters battlefield tap and taps for a white and a black. Then there's Rush of Inspiration. 1 blue red instant, draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you pay 2 energy. Or then Crackling Falls enters battlefield tap, and then it taps for a blue and a red. Then there's Revitalizing Repost. And Old Growth Grove. So for a hybrid black and green instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it gains indestructible until end of turn, which I think is actually, that's another really strong one. Or Old Growth Grove, land, enters battlefield tap, or taps for a black and a green. Then you have Legion Leadership and Legion Stronghold. So Legion Leadership is 1 a red and a white instant until end of turn, double target creature's power, and it gains first strike. Again, I think that one's pretty good. And then Legion Stronghold, land, enters battlefield tap for a red or a white. Then you have Drowner of the Truth or Drowned Jungle. Drowner of the Truth, 5 generic, then hybrid green blue creature Eldrazi with Devoid. Whenever you cast a spell, if colorless mana was spent to cast it, create 2 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens with sack this to gain 1 mana. It's also a 7/6, so it's the biggest out of all of these by far, but it is also the most expensive out of all of them. And then Drowned Jungle enters battlefield tap or taps for a green and a blue. Suppression Ray or Orderly Plaza is next. Suppression Ray, 3 hybrid white blue sorcery, tap all creatures target player controls, then you may pay X energy, then choose up to X target creatures tap this way and put a stun counter on each of them. That's pretty good. And then Orderly Plaza here enters battlefield tap or taps for a white and a blue. Almost there. We have Waterlogged Teachings and Inundated Archive. So Waterlogged Teachings here is 3 hybrid blue-black instant. Search your library for an instant card. card or a card with flash. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle, which I really like this. It's versatile to get those flash creatures, which could be an interesting strategy. And then inundated archive land enters battlefield tap or taps for a blue and a black. And lastly, we have Blood-Soaked Insight and Sanguine Moraz. This rivals the cost of the other one, but this one can be discounted. So Blood-Soaked Insight is 5 hybrid black-red sorcery. This spell costs 1 less cast for each 1 life your opponent's lost turn. Target opponent exiles the top 3 cards of their library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. If you cast a spell this way, mana of any type can be spent to cast. Really like this. I think it's going to be not as much played, but I think definitely if you're dealing a lot of combat damage, this could be a valuable card in order to steal stuff from your opponent's deck. And then Sanguine Moraz, land enters battlefield tap and taps for a black and a red. So now I just want to go through some of the cool cards we received today, starting out with Strix Serenade, single blue instant, counter target artifact, creature, or planeswalker spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. Very similar to Swan Song here, but we're getting a new version with a bird. Strix Serenade here also counters all of the things that Swan Song doesn't. So Swan Song hits enchantments, instant, and sorceries, and this hits artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers. So a very cool version, and this special art is actually really sick as well. So the next 3 cards we're going to look at here is Harbinger of the Sea, Wrath of the Skies, and Emperor of Bones. Harbinger of the Sea is real plain and simple. 1 blue creature, merfolk wizard. Non-basic lands are islands. So this is basically a Magus of the Moon, but instead of turning everything to mountains, everything is islands. I'm very excited to see how this card plays out. I think making things blue is good, but I think blue is played defensively because of all the counter spells and, shenanigans you can get along there, so it might be a double-edged sword in some cases. Wrath of the Skies is X white sorcery. You get X energy, then you may pay an amount of X. Destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value less than or equal to the amount of energy paid this way. Great in control decks. I mean, you cast your big stuff, that's 4 or 5 mana, end up wiping the board of all the small stuff, and you get to keep everything. So Wrath of the Skies seems really powerful, and I'd like to actually brew with this a bit. And then Emperor of Bones, 1 in a black creature, skeleton noble, with at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. For 1 in a black, adapt 2, which means you put 2 counters on it if it hasn't adapted already. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Emperor of Bones, put a creature card exiled with Emperor of Bones onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. It gains haste, sack at the beginning of next end step. This also seems like a pretty cool card to build around, being able to get stuff back out of the graveyard. It gains haste, all while making Emperor of Bones bigger and bigger. So next 3 cards to look at, we have Flusterstorm, Wirewood Symbiote, and Eldrazi Ravager. Flusterstorm is a single blue instant, counter target instant or sorcery spell, unless its control plays 1 and it has Storm. This notably is a reprint, and interestingly enough, Modern Horizons 1 or 2 had Flusterstorm as the box topper, so to get another copy of this just shows you, how expensive it crept back up to for them wanting to print it again. Wirewood Symbiote, single green creature insect, return an elf you control to its owner's hand, untap target creature, activate only once each turn. This is also a reprint that we're getting printed into Modern. Very cool, definitely some elf support. Then Eldrazi Ravager, 5 in a colorless mana, creature Eldrazi with Annihilator 1, sack 2 Eldrazi, return Eldrazi Ravager from your graveyard to your hand, cycling for 2. Interesting, you can use this early game if you want to discard it to get some more cards, but then later in the game if you want to sack some small tokens in order to get this back, might be worthwhile. And the last 2 cards today we have is Warren Soul Trader and Tamio Meets the Story Circle. Warren Soul Trader, 2 in a black creature, zombie goblin wizard with pay 1 life, sack another creature, create a treasure token. I don't know. I think this is going to be good. I don't know if this has any modern decks where this is going to be the best in. I mean, maybe there's some aristocrat style decks where you want to sack that and making treasure just lets you do more things, but this seems okay. And then Tamio Meets the Story Circle I think is broken. 1 in a blue, Saga, so it's Saga .1, until your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or planeswalkers you control, it gets -2/-0 until end of turn. That seems okay. Number 2, discard any number of cards, then investigate twice for each card discarded this way. That's where it's broken. Think about being able to cast this. You get an Urza Sagas out there, you make a construct token, then you discard your hand of, let's say, 7 cards. You make 14 tokens. Now your little construct is a 15/15 with little to no effort. Now you did have to pitch your hand, but that seems okay to me. and then shuffle up to 3 target cards from your graveyard into your library. Get some of those things you just pitched and throw them back in your deck, and hopefully you draw them. I don't know. I love this card. I think it's going to be very cool, and I think it's going to be an uncommon to keep your eye on. But with that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end of this video. I hope I showed off some cool cards today, and of course, there'll be more all week, along with some commander decks I'll be working on, and hopefully posting this week or next. If you would please share this video with a friend, leave a like and subscribe. That would also mean the world to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But today's Scryfall card of the day is Molten Hydra. Keep off the glass. Hydra warning sign. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you later, Planeswalkers.